be a problem with it. Very inexpensive though.
Hello, how are you?
Oh, good, how you doing?
I'm above ground.
So which office is Bob going to give up? Or is he that?
I was about to ask the same question.
Is that an elected office, the school board?
Yes, it is.
Or is it his ass out of here? We won't miss him.
What are you talking about now?
He sent me the letter. Read the bottom, old business.
Oh, business.
We have 2 months to sign a petition to make him do something else for us, but it's in March, we can give, April, February, up to turn town to do something in March at our general meeting, so they can totally ignore it.
Good evening, sir.
And it is a good evening.
It's slightly warmer than it was last night. That's always good.
Yeah, it is. My hands
Craig just turned up the heat a little.
Did you?
Craig did.
Ain't neat in here.
Did you see the fancy new microphone stand?
Oh, yeah, wow. Ooh, does Bob know about this?
Yeah.
It's a lot of spending.
Wait a minute.
Mike doesn't have one.
Did he approve this?
Maybe they're supposed to share. Wouldn't it be nice if they could share?
Yeah, I mean, how much does it really take to move that
Yes,
microphone?
for, I mean, it's right there.
He hasn't been doing it, so.
Some people just can't grasp higher concepts.
Yeah, Yeah.
Workshops.
I'm sure that's just them. They have to hammer out the budget for next year, you know. I just don't know why they're all still getting paid. When they voted it out with the next group. I thought they were gonna hand over their paychecks to, organizations that needed money. I don't see that happening either.
There's something missing from the agenda. They didn't want to approve the holidays last time. Hey, how you doing, sir?
Good, how are you?
Oh, I'm all right. Hey, where's the holiday approval? I thought they only approved New Year's, and then we're gonna table the rest of them until this meeting. Did they wind up approving them all?
Well, you did the same as your time.
Ah, okay.
So they won't have Christmas or New Year's Eve off. Morning, evening.
Something like that. Saw a picture in the paper with them Republicans.
Yeah, best organization.
It's an organization.
Hey,
No.
we didn't have both.
Neither one, it doesn't make any difference, they're all close.
I know. I told Excalibur, in fact, Steve's here now, when I first started, something came up and I said, I hate politicians. And he goes, well, aren't you an elected official? You know, yeah, I was wondering how long it was gonna take you to catch that.
Yes, he was sitting in front of me one day, rattling on about something like, he sounds like a politician. He turned around and he goes, thank you. And I said, that wasn't a compliment.
Yeah. There's few that make it, everybody else look bad. All politicians are bad.
No,
The few that are really
yeah,
bad.
because they keep putting their name in the paper and it's always blaring at you like, oh, geez.
Well,
Like
they-
Algonquin, come on,
Oh my God.
They got
That place is
I bet Bob
disaster.
loves that because he can compare us to them.
No, he wouldn't do that, because that'd make this township look pretty good. Their township is, that thing, I
They
can't.
have a real mess.
Oh my God. That Bobby Muller, he's gonna go to jail.
Mm-mm.
No.
They
Yeah,
they
you're probably right.
they did all the state's attorney looked at everything and said there's nothing here that's
See,
actionable.
that's what makes people mad. They do this stuff. They get away
And
with
they
it,
get away with it, yeah,
you know.
that's what's sad.
Over here, Phil's law, does it? That guy shouldn't have been in closed session. He should have been open, like, color of the train.
Well, I mean, it didn't make any difference.
How much longer you want to
About-
be?
True, since he was picked, hands to him, first person. 3 days, 3 days. Wanted to be a trustee.
I thought the therapy was great.
You go anywhere, you stay.
I would still be
They
going.
don't wonder why?
Yeah.
Is your love beardy?
Years ago.
Well, we just doing it at home.
I haven't for years.
I ran out when I was back in New York, for nonsense in New Year, but I would have to go back to the bathroom,
We had a great time.
you know, whatever. And actually, the knee is doing pretty good. I mean, I'm not gonna walk miles or anything else, but it's a cold outside. Then, you know, if I didn't have so many other aches pains, it's just great. You know,
Yeah.
this one here, the calf has been giving me trouble. Did you ever run that? No, no. But, it continues. I have a feeling it might be some verification. But I don't know. It's, they say sometimes that, solicitor for, I've been thinking about 7 years now since I got and they say, well, a lot of people, not everybody, but I've been fine on it, but I'm wondering if this, whatever.
He's slick with it, I don't know.
No.
I never played it.
Well, it hit me once in November, and, when I was still going to therapy, but it started to say, I'm thinking, you know, give me a break, you know, you get the one doing him, whatever.
He doesn't answer.
Yeah.
Voice.
It's amazing what it does.
I have to go back and yeah. Yes.
Messages or emails.
Really?
3 days later,
Facebook message.
amazing.
Really?
Yeah, well, not only that, but we also got that statement of economics. It's gonna be
That's gotta be
I have to have reports of who gets it.
See, you know, some of that was medications.
I gotta know.
It's in here, a little bit way down, it's specific. So that's all I want.
So you should drink more water.
I didn't know, I just know my car, and I didn't know that it took us to a while or Steve. I had a thing. I didn't.
There's so many pills they say drink a whole lot. I'm sure you do, because it would happen if you don't.
You do that?
They don't.
I didn't know they didn't take it.
It's everybody different too, you know.
I know.
So I don't know if this would be from them for medication, but you know, it didn't never happened before. And all of a sudden it's happening now.
Dead.
It does make so what, it's not going, you know, it's gonna be right here.
Yeah.
Or it will just go down. Because it starts dissolving.
That makes sense, yeah. I drink a lot of water. I drink liquid.
Readings.
Well, you have to
And you?
Not me.
Right
There I am.
I just gave it something.
Here's your, and I need your autograph. It's not the same one, I lost the other one.
How you be?
I have no idea. I was so upset.
And she said, I will.
Hey,
She
Mary.
says, I don't know if Mike will or not, but she says, I will. She works for the Department of Defense, but it's something.
Very good. We have to give them
But she doesn't know Mike.
Again?
Yeah, every year's got to be.
So, and I
What's
don't
the
know.
deadline?
Maybe the attorney will know, I don't know. I think you got.
I think
I don't know.
It only
He's done
takes
it,
a
didn't
few. I did mine. You can do it on.
Oh, I can do it online?
But I got
Okay,
three
just
of
go to
them
the county.
there.
I actually got it sent to me in an email. Okay, I'll find out. Tomorrow I gotta send a thing of who's supposed to do it, and that has to be in before the,
Yeah, Megan, she
to the
wants to
clerk.
watch my brother.
Well, everybody officially comes through.
Right.
By the end of this
But I
month.
have
By the end
to
of
give
I
February.
think it's.
you know, I have to give a list, you know, for the water to.
Oh.
She wants to go to like,
But last thing,
yeah,
yeah,
I'll go a little
but
bit.
they came with a region.
Little more time.
Well, maybe Greg. But I think it's in February.
Could be.
Which was a problem.
Very good. So we'll see, I don't know, we have to check my brother, he's supposed to have that knee replacement, but he was testifying as an expert witness trial, which was supposed to be in February. Because the government shut down, all the courts are shut down, so it's all postponed. So now I said, well, you better find out. What if we can still go there in March, because if we have surgery, they don't want to be out there, it's like other people, you know, so what do you do? You know, and then she wants to be there. I said, well, there's a training, we not be open then.
Sick for almost a year now.
You're good, so
I'm fine. I'm good. Everybody's got a microphone now. Watch what you say.
Yeah, they're hot mic.
Here, I don't know if they're recording. Hey, that's Bill. What's it? Oh, I seen it.
I think I gave it.
We sent your referral. We sent your referral, so I expect a kickback. Is that legal?
No. Where's the deadline for economic?
There's something that's, there's a document that's due in January, February. Yes, there's a statement of economic. Yeah, but there's another document in there. And you have to advise them and say, these are all the individuals that need to file.
That's my.
Oh, that's his job. He was just talking about that.
Okay, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, he was just. That's my day. It's either good, bad, or disaster.
That's okay.
So the time period, it's either the end of January or.
Good, how are you?
Did they say it's end of January or is it end of February?
No, I gotta have a list by the end of January.
Yeah, so the end of January is when it's either the end of February or the end of March. I'll look at it right now. Okay. Because it seemed like it was in February. I know I got a mark in my appointment, but he said, oh, yeah. That is like one penny. You don't get that in. That's, you don't get that economic. You can go off the board. You can go off. Or 5,005. I'll get you that date. Okay.
So what's the verdict here? By the end of February?
It's tabled, but I will have it for you tonight.
Okay.
Are you ever serious?
Oh, I knew it was serious.
Something new.
Last year, $500. Finally, some you could have ever seen. I don't remember
All right, I got 7 o'clock.
Let's call the meeting order. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First thing on the agenda, is there any public comment? Oh, I need my list, I'm sorry. Let me grab that. Have Mike Toller first.
That's me.
Mike Dollar, 7511 Hickory Trail, Hunter Lake. I just want to bring up that I see that on the old business, we're still addressing the fact that there's a letter being sent to the state of Illinois looking to put in a bill so you can only hold one office simultaneously. I find it very interesting that it's still being talked about, that's still being pushed, and Trustee Anderson is still on 2 elected positions. So if you're going to continue to push for this, I highly recommend, to avoid being viewed as some sort of hypocrite, that you step down from one of the 2 positions you're currently elected to. Thank you.
Okay, next I have Robert Beltran.
I'd like to hand these out to you folks. And I'm sure that Mr. Condon has seen this before, but I'm not sure about the rest of them. This has to do with the relationship between you and the board and Mr. Condon. These are from the state of Illinois. And of course, some of this I'm sure you're familiar with, but I'd like to point out the item at the bottom of the page regarding the fact that the highway commissioner is independent. He's independent with respect to at least a couple of important things. One of these is who he hires and who he fires, and one is who he contracts with. Now, repeatedly, he has come under attack for those very things over and over again. And I view that as a kind of mission creep. You folks are real big about complaining about mission creep. In fact, you complained about mission creep with respect to, in the last meeting, with respect to general assistance and emergency assistance, and that this is kind of newfangled mission creep that's come about since the Civil War. I don't know about you, but I consider this all to be pretty well established. And I would like to point out that under Illinois statute, the township supervisor has independent authority to deal with those matters, and it is under his administrative aegis to do that. So that's the point of my comment, that if you're going to use the platform that you are in right now to make statements, which every citizen has the right to do, I'd suggest you do it the same way I am right now, in public comment instead of from your office. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other public comment? Anybody that hasn't signed up? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on. First, we have to, we talked about them last month, review of the township board meetings held on November 8th, 2018. We didn't review them last month because I put 2017 in there instead of 18. So we just need, I believe at the time of our discussion, we didn't have any corrections, so I just need a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion to approve.
Okay, motion approved by Mr. Anderson. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Wojcicki. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any nays? None being heard. The minutes are approved for the November 8th, 2018 meeting. Moving on, we have last month's minutes, December 13th, 2018. Let me know if you have any corrections or concerns with those minutes.
I have no corrections. Anybody else? If not, I'll make a motion to approve them.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Anderson to approve. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, second by Mr. Wojcicki. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any nays? None heard, unanimously approved the minutes of December 13th board meeting. Okay, we don't have to review any executive session minutes at this time. We need the motion for the approval, receipt, and the bills of the town fund.
I've got that. We, the undersigned members of the Mchenry Township Board of Trustees, certify that we have this 10th day of January 2019 examined and audited the amounts due for the items specified in the claims attached and hereby authorized payments of the same. Total reimbursements to be approved, 0. Total bills to be approved, $14,434.33. Total bills paid prior to audit, $51,295.58. Total be approved, $65,729.91. Total receipts, $6,966.63. So I'll move. Put my little notes here, I'll get that down right. I'll make a motion to approve the receipts to pay the bills for the town fund.
Okay, Mr. Anderson has made a motion to accept the receipts and pay the bills for the town fund. May I have a second?
Second.
Okay, second by Mr. Beer. Over roll call vote. Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Adams, yes. Mr. Wojcicki?
Yes.
And Mr. Beer?
Yes.
All yeses. Passes unanimously. Okay, we'll move on to the receipts and bills for the General Road and Bridge Fund.
We, the undersigned members of the Mchenry Township Board of Trustees, certify that we have this 10th day of January 2019 examined and audited amounts due for the items specified in the claims attached and hereby authorized payments of same. Total reimbursements to be approved, 0. Total bills to be approved, $82,752.82. Total bills paid prior to audit, $120,065.42. Total to be approved, $202,818.24. Total receipts, $12,899.39. I make a motion to approve the receipts, pay the bills.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Wojcicki to accept the receipts and pay the bills for the General Road and Bridge Fund. I'll second that motion. A roll call vote. Vera?
Yes.
Mr. Wojcicki?
Yes.
Mr. Adams, yes. Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Okay, all yeses, the motion carries. Lastly, we'll move on to the receipts and bills for the Permanent Hard Road Fund.
A motion to approve the following. We, the undersigned members of the Mchenry Township Board of Trustees, certify that we have this 10th day of January 2019 examined and audited the amounts due for the items specified in the claims attached and hereby authorized payment of same, plus acknowledgement of the receipts received. So the breakdown is total reimbursements to be approved, 0. Total bills to be approved, $457,130.18. Total bills paid prior to our audit, $20,799.75. So the total to be approved sums to $477,929.93. Plus the total receipts received equal $663.72. So that was a motion to approve that.
Mr. Beers made a motion to approve the receipt, to accept the receipts and pay the bills for the Permanent Hard Road Fund.
But I'd like there to be a little discussion about some elements. I noticed in some of these bills that, and Debbie's going to get the correction on some of them, the sales tax is charged to us. Insofar as the Permanent Hard Road Fund, I'm asking Mr. Condon to find out if the township as a governmental organ should be exempt from paying several of those taxes that were put on, like the Petco bill, federal excise taxes, state, fuel taxes, and so on and so forth. So with that said, I don't have any problem with this being paid, but if you could investigate that for the future, because these are going to be recurrent bills, and if the township is in fact exempt from these charges, then I think we should notify these billing agents. Finish.
That's fine. Mr. Condon, you'll look into that, I take it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thanks for the,
No problem. All right, so with that, we
I'll
have,
second.
I'm sorry.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
well, we should have a second before we go to discussion.
Oh, you're
When there's a motion, we should have a
absolutely
second.
you're absolutely right, Mr. Anderson. I failed in that motion, so
Whatever.
I will,
But I'm gonna
Stick to
second
that in the future.
But anyway,
You're right.
I should have spoken up a little sooner.
You're right.
But we should do it the right way.
You're correct. You're
We should
absolutely-
have a second.
you're absolutely correct, I should have done. Okay, so now we have a first and a second, then let's have a roll call vote. Mr. Brzezinski,
Yes.
Mr. Bear,
Yes.
Mr. Adams, yes, Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Okay. Fund transfers none at this time. All right, moving on, I wanted, under new business, I have discussed the township budget workshops, gentlemen, same as we did last year. I would like, was gonna suggest that we have the first one on January 21st, but I realized after writing this, that's Martin Luther King Day and we're closed. So I would suggest January 28th, the following Monday. And we could have them right here as we did last year. And on Mondays, I knew that was good for you, Bob, I thought.
Thank
so.
you.
Okay.
I would not have been good on the 21st, but anyway, but I'm good for all the dates that you had listed there.
Okay. And I do want to amend, I would like to be done by March 11th if we can, because that way we could pass the budget at our March meeting and have it in effect by April. So hopefully we can accomplish that. Any other comments on that? Is everybody okay with that?
Is that gonna be every Monday until,
Until we get done. I don't know how many Mondays it'll take us. I would say 9 to noon, you know, after that it's too long.
I could make the January 21st one, but the 28th one won't be on.
Okay. Well, everybody doesn't have to be here, so it's just a workshop, and it's open to the public, okay? And it will also be broadcast on YouTube, okay? So make all you can, and I will be setting out an agenda for each one of those meetings at least 48 hours ahead of time. All right. Around old business, Bob, I put from my previous, I'm sorry, is there any other new business? Okay, hearing none. Let's move on to old business. I put that letter, Bob, that you had suggested we sent to the legislatures regarding only holding one position. If you, I can't find mine that you gave me. Do you have a copy? Okay.
I just threw a date up there.
Okay. Let me read this letter because it wasn't in the packet so the public can know. It says, members of the General Assembly, dear members, Illinois elected official holding 2 or more elected offices, please advise Mchenry Township Board on how the board can be of help to change the Illinois law in regards to not allowing elected positions to be held simultaneously. Example, state offices with other elected offices, county, township, school board, fire board, library board, etc. Few residents know it is lawful to hold 2 or more of these elected positions simultaneously. Those that know believe it should be unlawful. I have no problems with this letter. I happen to be in agreement. I don't think you should hold 2 positions. Any other, I guess we need to, do we want to vote on this letter? We need a
I don't know if we really need a motion. I don't think Steve was here though when we talked about.
I don't think he was.
Yeah, so he might have something to say about it. He might have something he wants to change in that.
Yeah, Steve, do you want to, I can pass it down to you if you want to look at it?
Just look at it. You might want to change something that we're doing now, but he was not here when we discussed it.
You're
before.
correct, he was not. And the idea was that we would send that off on the township stationery to the Illinois, to the what do they call it? Newly installed Illinois representatives.
Or reinstalled.
Reinstalled.
But either way. Go to our state representative and state senator.
Correct. And you wanted it to go to all, is that what you were thinking?
What?
Just ours or the entire
We did talk about that. I don't know, if, let's send it to all of them.
I don't
There's
have,
a lot of new people down there.
sure, I don't have a problem with
Yeah, let's send it to all of them.
it. Okay. All senators and state representatives. Yes,
I have a problem with that.
okay.
A lot of these elected officials are also precinct committee men now,
That wouldn't apply to that.
but they're both elected positions.
You're correct. I
So by
guess
the
we
letter
should,
of the law.
I guess we should make that clear.
Well, the point of,
Go ahead, Mr. Hurd.
those are party positions, those aren't governmental positions.
No, you're right, that's correct.
So it wouldn't affect that. And my only problem with this is if the elected position doesn't pay anything, I don't really see any problem with some of them.
Well, I disagree with that because they have on a school board, you have a big say over a levy, if you're paid or not. So I don't think you should have to say over two large levies at one person. That's my take on it.
So is the point of the letter that power isn't concentrated in a few people to decide what the levies are, or that people are getting full-time pay for really part-time jobs?
The letter has nothing to do with pay. It has to do with, they should hold two elected positions. If you would like to change it to say you would like not to have two elected positions over simultaneously concentrated power over two levies, I have no problem with that. Two levies or more.
I don't have any problem with it written myself, but, if you want some changes.
No, it's not, just keep it the way it is. I don't really.
I think the main thing is to call some attention. I think the main thing here is to call some attention that this is ongoing. If it gets down or somebody picks it up, they'll be hashing that for a long time, and they'll deal with all the
Sure.
who it should affect. It should affect committees, whatever it is. But I think my point of the letter is at least it should be called to attention that something should be done about that.
I'm in agreement. I would.
And then see where it goes.
Okay. Any further? I would be happy to make a motion to send this letter. Bob, you want to second that motion?
I'll second it.
Okay, let's have a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? None being heard, then I will get it done with transfers. Yes, I'm sorry.
He needs the copy because I don't have another copy,
Yes.
so that
Yes.
Dan's got that.
Dan, you can have this, but I also need it back. I don't have another copy. We'll make a copy of it. All right.
If you're on old business, I got something too.
Okay.
On old business.
Old
It
business.
also goes back to a letter too, and I can't remember, the date I got it on the copy, I got it January 11th though. And did we send a letter that was dealing with the township electoral board to get that changed? We had talked about that. Did that letter ever go off? Here, just.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. The elected board.
Yeah. But I don't remember of that letter being sent off. We had talked about it. But if it wasn't, we should also follow up on
You know,
that too.
Let me check up. I think I did send this off to our local representatives at the time, Pam Altoff and Steve Wright, I believe.
And then my question would be, did we hear anything from them?
We did. I did not. No.
Okay.
Yeah. But let me double check that I indeed did send them and let me get back to you.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, you can have it back.
As long as I.
Because I believe I did, but let me.
I think you did too,
Let me
but
double
we
check.
haven't heard anything about it, that's why I was kind of wondering.
My recollection is you sent it and you got no response.
That is my recollection too, and I believe I sent it registered mail, so they had to sign for it, so I should have that in the file. I can check.
So it's pretty disappointing, we haven't got a reply back.
Yeah, I did not get a reply. If I sent it, let's double check,
we'll
make sure.
Check it out, thank you.
All right, is there any other old business?
That's all I have.
Okay, anybody else? I don't have any.
Oh, wait, no, excuse me, I do have one more.
Okay, go right ahead.
Okay, I almost forgot. It was, and I thank you for when I sent you and asked you about the legal fees.
Mhm.
Okay, and the number you gave was $15,128. Did that include the cost for the co-warranto, when we went to the United States District Court,
Yes, it did.
and the appellate court,
That was all the cost.
and then also with the demand letter that
That
represents
was,
for that?
that was for the
complete.
entire case.
Okay,
complete.
thank you, I just want to make sure that was correct.
Yes, it
Okay,
was.
thank you, that's it.
All right. Any other old business? Okay. None being heard, we'll move on. Parks report, general assistance report, and the senior center report is in your packet. I don't know if there's any questions. Moving along as normal on those. The other thing I want to mention, we're going to have a blood drive at the Township Recreation Center, the senior center, on Saturday, January 26th from 9 to 2. And we're having it in conjunction with Mchenry Township Fire Protection District. So if you're available to give blood that day, we'd sure like to see you. We're going to have a little contest with the fire department, see who can bring more people to the township or the fire department. So it'll be a little fun thing, and it's for a good cause. All right. Yes?
I just said, we're talking about the entire supervisor's report now, right?
Yes, we are.
So I have a question on the general assistance report.
Okay, let me find it. Okay.
Under the general assistance line items, at the very bottom, there's like med disbursement, is it medical disbursement?
That would be a medical disbursement, which, let me explain that. There is none, obviously. But someone came to the township and they were eligible for general assistance, and we put them on general assistance. And the next month, they developed cancer, and they don't have insurance. The entire township is liable to pay all those medical bills, including to bankrupt the entire township if we have to, for general assistance for that. That's why it's there. Now, obviously, we would do everything in our power to hook them up with, Medicaid or whatever other resources there are. But during that in-between time, we are responsible for their medical bills.
Mostly the general assistance is just for a one-time payment, right?
It's $273, I think, $273.50 a month, something to that effect. Most of the time it's one time, but someone could be on the program for, several months until they can obtain employment or something changes in their situation. But we require them to do many things for that. They have to be looking for work. They have to come in once a month and show us they're doing all the things we're asking them to do. And if they're not doing the things we're asking them to do, they're sanctioned and taken off.
So theoretically, the township could be on the hook for potentially millions of dollars.
Potentially, we could be.
All right. And then going to the bottom of that page, I understand the general assistance and the emergency assistance.
Can you start on the microphone, please?
Thirds of the page, the last third, SA, and that's with Salvation Army somehow involved?
That's Salvation Army. We're I guess you could say we're a representative of the Salvation Army while these people are here. If we cannot help them with funds, we screen them for the Salvation Army, and then that money that you see is not our money, that's the Salvation Army's money. That's being paid out under SA.
Does the township get any money for doing that?
No, we do not. But it's really not that difficult, Steve, because when we're evaluating these cases, especially, we have to evaluate everybody for GA if we know they're going to get it or not. And then we're moving to emergency assistance. Really what happens is, if we can't cover their emergency assistance, we have the Salvation Army help them. So it's not a ton of work.
Well, are these people township residents or what?
Yes, they have to be township residents. We're not taking the whole county. They have to be a township resident.
And the entirety of these disbursements is shouldered by the Salvation Army itself?
The last column there at 34,000, yes.
So is the money actually issued to them by the township?
No,
By the Salvation?
we rarely issue money directly to a client. And in terms of GA, it would be put toward some of their needs, maybe rent, et cetera. It's the monies will be given directly to the landlord. Emergency assistance, maybe they can't get to work because they can't afford to get their car repaired, but go directly to the mechanic to repair the car. They don't get the money. In the case of Salvation Army, they get vouchers to go to the store to buy something. So very rarely would a client, I don't know if a client ever would get any money, any cash. I don't believe they do. They never get cash. They might get a gift card under emergency assistance to go get gas or something.
So the only reason this is even on your report is that the township acts as sort of a screener.
Correct.
Well, in the future, it might help to put an asterisk or some kind of notation on there that this is not taxpayer money.
Sure, I'd be happy to do that.
That's the 34,000 we're talking?
Correct, the 34,000.
Just so everybody's clear on it.
Sure, I'd be happy to do that.
And it looks like there's quite a bit more of these than there are the emergency or general assistance applicants.
Well, because they may not qualify for our general assistance or emergency assistance, but the Salvation Army has requirements that aren't as stringent, so then we refer them there.
So where do these people come from? The Salvation Army gives them to you, or they couldn't get the GA or the EA? And then
Normally, they couldn't get the GA or EA, so then we refer them to the Salvation Army. We not only refer to the Salvation Army, just so you know, we refer to Catholic Charities, we refer to the Knights of Columbus, we refer to the Lions Club for glasses, we refer to almost any agency we could possibly use, churches that also help us with these cases.
St. Vincent de Paul.
St. Vincent de Paul is another one that we do a lot with.
well, why are some of these organizations not listed, but other ones are, like the SA?
The Salvation Army, they don't have the manpower to have an office man here, so we do it as a service to the clients in Mchenry Township to help them. And the other people have people to handle this, so we send them there.
So the township employees are only screening out clients of the Salvation Army. None of these other organizations that you talked about, you just directed them.
I apologize for that.
Well, that's not entirely, yes, I mean, the other organization, when we direct them to them, we probably give a referral to the organization, let them know this client is coming and what their needs are. So we're just not distributing their money for them, they distribute their money themselves. It's not like we just say, go there. We have a case file on them, Steve, and it's very involved.
So how much time? Do you handle these things yourself?
I do not handle the entire case myself. I approve every case. We had this conversation last month. We have approximately one full-time person that handles all this.
I'm just talking about the Salvation Army ones.
Oh, that doesn't really take any additional staff because they have to screen for this other stuff anyways. It's probably a 5-minute process is what I'm saying. That's the last resort where they don't qualify for anything or they need additional help. Or we may not give them help, or we may not give them Salvation Army help, but we refer them to St. Vincent de Paul.
All right, thank you.
Okay. All right. Any other questions to the supervisor's report? Okay, none being heard, let's move on to the assessor's report.
So I thought I'd give a little update on the number of sales that we had in 2018. We had 1,350 sales out of our approximately 25,000 parcels, so about 5% of our total parcels were sold. We had 1,123 residential properties, 15 farm properties, 159 vacant properties, and 53 commercial properties. So things are selling when people say that they're not there. We are still working on the 2018 appeals. We should be done by the second week in February. Once the final notices are sent out, we will be updating our website with the finalized 2018 values. We don't do that until we get the final numbers from the county. I am in the process of hiring 2 field staff for my office. These are positions that are open due to an employee that left in September and another that will be retiring in the first quarter. Other than that, 2019 is a quadrennial, which means we expect to see more corrections in assessments, and we've already been working on that, but we'll be working on those numbers as soon as we are done with the 2018 appeals. Other than that, it's still busy, and we're just working away. Any questions? If you're ever bored, you're welcome to come on in and see how busy we are in the assessor's office.
No questions from Mary? No hearing? Okay, moving on to the Highway Commissioner's report.
I submitted the written report. There isn't a lot of change, and I'm a little bit under the weather right now, so I'll be brief and not go through the whole thing. If you have any questions, I'm glad to answer them.
I have some questions. Yeah, what about the tree in Bill Valley? Was that taken down?
It was taken down, and they were forwarded a bill.
And what?
Were forwarded a bill.
Forwarded the bill, what was it?
I would have to go back. I don't remember the number exactly.
But it was
around $3,000.
Would you let us know when it's paid?
We had taken the bill down before we sent it, so we informed them that it would have been $3,000, and we had to put at the bottom no charge, so we didn't have approval of it before we took it down.
Okay, thank you. And then I also went over your snow events for December.
Yes.
What is, I noticed everything was overtime hours?
When I took this position, you don't realize that most of the time, if you took the hours that we work maybe 1/5 of the time during a week. So the odds are, most of the time it's going to be overtime because it's outside of regular hours. It just occurs that way.
So is overtime time and a half or double time? What is overtime?
It is time and a half.
Time and a half. Does anybody get double time?
On holidays.
On holidays, that's double time holidays? Okay, and then another one was, it was in the paper about the salt purchases, so I don't know if the paper's got these numbers correct or not, Jim, but anyway, it said Cary spent $62 a ton, Woodstock 62, Foxborough Grove 63, Crystal Lake 64, and Mchenry Township 68?
Yes.
Why would that be?
I can't address the others. I can tell you how we got our pricing. We buy through the state office, and when you sign that contract, you can renew it for a second year. So the year before, last year, we bought for $45 or $46 a ton. Last year, we would have bought for $46 a ton. This year, when the state went out to bid, the bid price came back at $68 a ton. So that's why it's shot. I've heard rumors that there's a shortage of supply, whether it be for flooding. A while back, several years ago, it actually got all the way up to over $80 a ton if you could get it. And then some people were paying over $100 a ton because they weren't part of like the state program. So.
Okay, I understand. I just saw the number, I make sure it was correct, and I understand how you come about to that.
Yeah, it's through the state. In the future, we actually are considering jumping on with the county bid also, getting consideration from there instead of just going directly to the state. So.
So I have.
All right, any other comments, any other questions for Mr. Condon, or real quick? Okay. None being heard, let's move on to board member comments. Are there any at this time? Okay, not hearing any. Is there any additional public comment at this time? Mr. Beltrade, you are recognized.
Robert Beltran, 2814 Regner Road in Tempe, Illinois, and I'm sorry I didn't give my name and address last time, so let this cover both times. And this is just a request here more than anything else, directed to Mr. Condon with respect to the his intentions to improve the formerly non-dedicated roads that have been taken on by the county and are hopefully to be transferred to the township once they're fixed up. If there's anything that any of the non-dedicated road associations or formerly non-dedicated road associations, either one, or the non-dedicated road coalition can do to encourage cooperation by the county in advancing that program to get these roads fixed up, please let me know, and I will speak to the appropriate people to get that done. And he can perhaps give us some guidance of things we should or should not be saying on our own part to do that.
Just to update, there's been the transition at the county board, and there's a new transportation committee. I would encourage you to meet those people that are on the transportation committee and express your concern about the project not having moved very far over the last year and a half, and that you would like to see that move forward. They're the ones who make the decisions on what goes forward. I can tell you we are ready to cooperate with them in any fashion we can. We've actually made offers to them to take some of the roads in for below probably what it would cost to get them fixed up, just to move forward on the roads and get something to happen. So we're ready, willing, and able to do whatever we can as soon as they want to move forward. On a side note to that, just touch base with you. We have signed a letter, or we will be signing a letter of intent with the county, the city of McHenry, and ourselves, that will also involve Orchard Beach Homeowners Association. It's a crazy situation there. Orchard Beach was a non-dedicated road in the township. It was accepted into the county's non-dedicated road program. And then the south half of it was actually taken out of the program because the city of McHenry annexed property adjacent to that road. So the county then says that that road is the city of McHenry's. The city of McHenry says, no, it was never a public road, so we're not accepting that road. And as a result, we have residents in the township that are on the side of the river that have no means. We, through the township, can't assist them with MFT or road and bridge funds because it's not in their road, it's in the city. The city won't help them, and the county has taken them out of their program. We move forward. I met with the association, asked them if they'd be interested in making a contribution to the program, if we were able to assemble a program. We could get the county, the city, ourselves, and the association to work together to take care of that south half as the county is moving forward with taking care of the north half of that Orchard Beach section. So just to let you know, we are proceeding with that, working through 2 other government agencies and ourselves and the association for this. That's kind of good news for those residents, whether they realize it or not. Hopefully we'll get their road upgraded. We are benefiting from it in that we will end up plowing the north section of Orchard Beach, and working with the city of McHenry, we'll probably also plow the south end of that Orchard Beach through an intergovernmental agreement where we exchange services. They plow some of our roads, we plow some of theirs. So just an update on that particular one. Is kind of a unique one. Thanks.
Okay, Mary, go ahead.
Mary Mahaney, 207 North Creekside Trail in McHenry. I just want to address the letter that this board has voted to send to members of the General Assembly regarding elected officials holding 2 offices. I find it very interesting that this is a topic that's been talked about for about a year now, and we still have a board member who is holding 2 elected offices. The letter states that you want to know how you can be of help to change the law. My suggestion would be that Mr. Anderson would step down from one of the elected positions and be an example of what you're proposing. Because other than that, you say in this letter that it should be unlawful. If it's really unlawful, why aren't the other members of this board requesting that Mr. Anderson step down from one of his elected positions. It seems to me to be the height of hypocrisy to be sending a letter to the General Assembly asking for a change in the law when we have a township board member currently holding 2 elected positions. Thank you.
Okay, Mike, go ahead.
Mike Toller, once again, I'll make this one brief. There's been a lot of talk about nickels and dimes and things like that. I remember there was a discussion a couple of months back about a noxious weed ordinance and how much it would cost to send somebody out to take a picture and come back and report on that. I'd like, and I know you're not required to answer me or to do as I request, but I would like to see what it costs to send all these certified letters to Springfield. Thank you.
Okay. Any other public comment? Okay, none being heard, I'll open to the motion for adjournment.
Before we adjourn,
Sure.
could you go over and get the date of the statement of economics, and we have to file that?
Yes,
The deadline?
the statute calls in 5 ILCS 420/4A-105, May 1st is the filing deadline. However, I believe the county probably has, and they did it in 2017, a program now, which is an online program to gather information. And so there may be a timeline a little sooner that they're asking to get that information in, but the statutory timeline is May 1st as to the filing of those economic statements. But I will follow up with the county as to the online system that they're now using for the economic statement. In the years past, what would happen is the clerk would send out a sheet saying and advising the county, these are the individuals that need to file the economic interest statement. They would put their name, their phone numbers, their names, their address, their position with the unit of government. As a result of that information, economic interest statements would then be sent out to those individuals, so those then could get filed. That deadline, that statutory deadline, was May 1st. However, there's an online program now that they've been wanting to use, and I believe they used it in 2017. And that deadline or that time period has been moved up, I believe, as far as getting it out to those people to get that done. I will follow up with each of the members here in the next 48 hours as to that time frame.
Would you send us an email?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
As you said before, it's important to get that done.
Absolutely.
It's a serious consequence.
Absolutely. And I will send the statute requiring the timing timeline regarding the economic interest statement, but I also follow up with the county as well and get that to everybody here on the board in an email.
Thank you.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, can we have a motion for adjournment now?
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Motion adjourned by Mr. Anderson. I'll be happy to second the motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? None heard. Motion's adjourned. Next meeting Thursday, February 14th.
Will that be a candlelit meeting?
Yes, bring your chocolates. Just a bit.
Yeah.
It
is done
9 o'clock.
online.
It'll be right here.
It is.
I'm the clerk for a road, I just had to send out, they did it last year and the following.
Yeah, they've got
It's
I know they did it in 2017. Dan's got to send out the
I just
individuals.
had to do it, I
Everybody
sent
knows.
out, I had to update it because one of the board members was gone.
And that's due
Do it online,
and that's
Bob,
due at the end
it's
of
online.
January.
I can statement it. Well, he's right, he'll tell you, he's the boss.
In fact, I'll send you the
And Greg,
It's amazing how the gallon is pretty cheap. You can go online, but too.
sending it out. It's really good. Everybody to Walmart. If you want to send that other letter too, you can say we have 2. You know what I mean? You're right. They can send it out.
that's better yet.
I will bring up first. So I'll get you that statute section.
Be nice to know that anyway. Okay, very good, thank you. You take the other one I signed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to do that again.
truck is, you know what you get with that. It's twice as cheap or more, but it's 5 times better on top of it.
That's great.
So,
She doesn't particularly like it, so I have to force her.
well, they got their berry flavors. Or you can just dump it in there. It's not gonna hurt it.
It's very organized.
Apple pop.
It's supposed to be run all over the place, it's good.
I know some people don't like it, but
I got her taking that, to Miracle.
it's an easy flame.
Yeah, well, she's getting, because of this, the stuff she's on, she's getting a lot of joint pain and stuff.
Steve. And this one. Did you get to do this one? Yeah, I got this one. I got this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna do her.
Huh? Oh, this is bad, I just do that down because of a document before I go. Oh, I know that, I don't like talking. I'll wait.
Speaking of Mike's, how's Mike?
He's planning on being at the next one. He's getting better.
He's getting, he's coming around a little bit.
Good.
You guys still aren't talking to its mics. It's not close enough.
It's okay. It's okay with me.
We're aware of this.
Well, yeah, I know.
That's
but
my pet. You can't have it.
Did you, I'm missing one.
Cost a whole $2.
Steve, did you?
No, I'm missing one.
Yeah, here.
Okay, we're good?
This thing is useless, man.
Right when he says.
They've already paid out.
Well, I know, but it's still gotta get done.
No, it doesn't. It's like we're signing a name or something. It's like, well, what? I don't know if it's legit or anything. I don't like to pay for tight sheet instructions. What was that for?
See you, Dan.
Bye-bye.
Hey.
Good night,
Good night.
Mr. Anderson, are you by any chance behind this phone survey that's going around now?
What was that?
Are you involved with this phone survey that is going around right now?
She didn't ask which one we're talking about.
Good night.
Right.
No. So how does it know which one you want?
Unless not, what time is that?
Okay, well, at least it was a short meeting.
Curious about it.
It wasn't like,
I wasn't curious about it.
no, that's true.